first thing, when I was thinking about doing this, the first thing I thought I wanted to do was explain a bit about who I am, and because it's good to know who it is that's talking to you about something, and you know what else might be going on. Although Chris introduced me as someone that works in the university, I don't feel I'm here as that kind of role, if you like, although you know, I'm used to talking to rooms of people in here sometimes, in fact, so that's not an issue. But what I wanted to clarify, I guess, is that I don't belong to any political parties, and I never have. I'm not particularly interested in politics. I don't follow it closely. I'm not kind of hyper-political in some way. Although I work in St Andrews, I'm actually from Glasgow, and because I'm from Glasgow and the parts of Glasgow that I'm from, although I say I'm not political, I have a kind of, I suppose, Glaswegian DNA, which is deeply anti-Tory. So if you're a Tory supporter, I don't apologise for that. That's how we are. And you know, they used to say that in parts of Glasgow, if the Labour Party put up a monkey, and sometimes they have, we would vote for the monkey. And I would vote, you know, I would vote for the monkey as well. But I think that's not because people aren't thinking, but because in the past, the Labour Party was more like a kind of movement, and it was about a kind of an ideology or ideas, and it wasn't about individuals. In a way, it didn't really matter who was, you know, standing in a particular area. There was some kind of sense of solidarity about it, if you like. I'll come back to this point a little bit later. So how did I end up standing here? This is the third political type meeting that I've ever been to in my life, okay, and I'm 50, thereabouts, and the last one was that last week, English Scots for Independence, across in the building that I work in, and I saw the advert for it, and I recognised the name of one of the people, and I thought, oh, I'll go along, and two reasons. I was curious to see who was maybe interested in Yes in St Andrews, because like Chris said, the referendum's a funny thing. People, on the one hand, don't want to talk about it, and I think that's partly because, and the Yes camp maybe has more of a problem with this in some ways, is that the enthusiasm comes out as a kind of aggression and a bit aggressive, and that makes it difficult. And I worry too that these sorts of meetings, in a sense, are all people who think the same, talking to each other. And maybe the no is the same. There's all the people who go and just sit and talk to each other, and there's not a lot of dialogue, and it's not easy because people have to be able to feel as though if they disagree, they can disagree, and there's not going to be some sort of I don't want to say stramash because Archie McPherson's come out on the wrong side, but you know what I mean. Okay. Anyway, so going from that one meeting, the previous time, the only political meeting I went to was a poll tax meeting in Glasgow back. I don't want to say back in the day; it always sounds a bit American, but you know what I mean, back then. Okay, so this is me on the third one. Now, I've been promised that I don't need to know any facts, so that's good, because questions about economics and all of these issues and certainties. But can I say about that, I think one important thing is, and I think this is unfair. Now, I am very firmly on the Yes now, which means that I'm biased. You know, I look at things in a biased way, and I don't pretend that I don't. Okay, but I do think that the Better Together campaign has been deliberately trying to mislead people and has been saying things which are patently untrue, and you know, there's a lot going on, in addition to which they have most of the mainstream media on their side, apart from the recent shift from Rupert Murdoch. I wouldn't welcome Rupert Murdoch into my house, so I think we need to be careful about that one. But you know, there's that question. You know, we need to kind of think about that. What I've seen on the Yes side is, in fact, that people are normally quite upfront about the fact that they are biased in favour of Yes, and they present information, okay, but they also source the information and encourage people to go and look for themselves. Now, I've probably learned more about what's going on in Britain in the past month from the internet by following up things on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I started the Facebook account in order to set up a Facebook thing in my work in the university. But on that now, if you go on and you like something, then you get sort of feeds from it. And so I've liked various yes things, and they send me information. But that's then taken me to other places. One of the things which I didn't really know much about before, but I found very interesting and significant, is the UN, United Nations HDI, Human Development Index. And you can look this up on Wikipedia. I mean, you know, we're modern people until Google is there so that we don't have to know. We can just go and find it, you see. And you can look this up on the top. Now, the HDI is interested in things, it's not interested in GDP. It's well, I'm simplifying, but it's more interested in things like education standards, inequality of wealth, average life expectancy. As a Glaswegian, you know, we're just seeing all the time how bad things are in parts of Glasgow. These are the things, and if you look on that list, at the top are places like, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, you'll have heard kind of SNP style, no offence to the SNP, but you know, Norway, and but these are the countries which are there. These are the countries which top that kind of record with us, that kind of what is it, that list. So, but as I said, so I guess anything I say that you know sounds a bit odd or funny, just go online and look. You can easily find, there's plenty of information around. What's quite interesting is some of the yes sites present information that they get from the UK government. That's where they get the information from. So they will tell, so for example, we've been told for years that Scotland is subsidised by, I'm not going to say the rest of the UK, I know people have been trying to be careful about that, but we're talking about England, and I don't say that in any nasty way, you know. I mean England simply because it's the largest part. In a sense, Wales, Northern Ireland and Scotland are irrelevant, just in terms of size comparison. You know, if 5 million people, if everyone in Scotland voted for a Labour government, we'd still have to wait and see what they did in England. We wouldn't have one, you know. And it's not, and that's fair. It's fair that the 55 have their say, but it's not really fair that we've got to stick with it. I think it's time we had our say, insofar as we've consistently been returning Labour, even New Labour, which I wouldn't say is Labour particularly, but even New Labour majorities. For 13 elections in a row, I didn't know that until someone who said to me, sent me, funnily enough, something from a Better Together site to convince me that actually it wasn't as bad as I thought. And we got the government we voted for 2/3 of the time. Now, if I'm buying a pint of milk, I don't want 2/3 of a pint of milk, I want the pint. And they seem to think that this was okay, but I don't think that's okay. You know, I don't.
We've got a few more minutes.
Sorry.
I'll give you some extra.
Yeah, so what's the basis of my reasons for voting yes? Primarily, I'm not, this might sound a bit, what could you say, carefree. I'm not really interested in money, okay? I mean, I can say that because I have enough money. You know, this might seem odd if I say I'm rich, but I am, actually. And by that, I don't mean I'm a football player or anything else. But in comparison with other people in the country, I'm pretty well off. Okay. I don't need to worry about money. I don't need to worry that I'm not going to be able to eat. I was shocked to discover that the lowest 10% of people in this country are on an average wage of £6,000, or an average income rather. That's £500 a month. I mean, students couldn't probably afford their accommodation here for that, and people are trying to live on it. So, you know, that's not right. So for me, what are the? If someone said, okay, so why are you voting yes? I think it's social justice. That's the main thing. But the other thing I was thinking about that's incredible is that on the when you're standing there in the booth holding your voting slip, you have something in your hand which I don't know if anyone has ever had, and that is a chance to say no to nuclear weapons. I don't know if that's ever happened. That's quite an incredible power to say no, I don't want that. You know, Trident is a big thing for me, not least of all coming from Glasgow. I mean, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole thing of, yeah, it's okay to sort of plunk it near all us, but it's too dangerous to keep it down in London, you know. I think, what would be quite good, I think, actually, is if Britain, as a result of this, you know, the rest of the UK couldn't keep the thing going either, because I think that's something we need to get rid of. But so social justice, strident as a kind of extra, and also just simple sort of democracy. But this is from a person, I think, as I've tried to explain, as I don't want to say an ordinary person. This is the sort of thing you get from politicians, ordinary people. Politicians are not extraordinary, by any manner of means, but just as someone who is, let's say, not heavily politicised, no special party ideologies. I even voted Liberal Democrat once, but I'm not doing that again. But, that was a tactical vote here when we first moved to as a kind of no Tory thing. But it's anyway. There's a different story about that one. So is that?
Yeah.
We're going to ask the people, is independence best? I'm thinking Bonnie Scotland, that the answer could be yes.